All right, today we're not just solving a math problem. Nope, we're going to crack the code behind how it's actually marked.
Ever wondered what really goes on in an examiner's head? Well, you're about to find out. We are pulling back the curtain on the whole marking process by breaking down a real GCSE maths question and, more importantly, its mark scheme.
Okay, so here's our challenge for today. We're looking at question 11. This one's from the November 2023 Pearson Edexcel Higher Tier, Paper 1.
Now, first thing you'll notice is this little symbol here. And trust me, that is super important. Why? Because this is a non-calculator paper. That means every single step of your method is absolutely crucial. You've got to show the examiner exactly how you got from A to B.
So, this question, it's a two-parter, and it's worth a total of 5 marks. It's basically testing two things: how you handle data visually, with a box plot, and then how you handle it with a good old-fashioned calculation.
So, the big question is, how do you make sure you get all 5 of those marks? Well, the secret, it's all in the examiner's blueprint, the official mark scheme.
Seriously, you need to think of this document as your insider's guide. It literally tells the person marking your paper exactly what to look for and where to give you points. If you can understand this, you're on the fast track to maximizing your score.
Okay, before we get into the nitty-gritty, you've got to learn the lingo. There are 3 main types of marks. You've got M for method. Then there's A for accuracy, which, and this is important, usually follows a correct method. And finally, B marks. Those are independent marks for a correct answer, sometimes without any method needed. Right, let's see how these actually work.
Okay, let's dive into part A, the box plot. This bit is testing 2 skills at once. Can you draw one, and can you read one? And right away, we see how you can pick up partial credit. The mark scheme gives you what's called a B1 mark, that's one of those independent marks, for doing just one of 2 things correctly. Either you plot the median at 900, or you get the whiskers finishing at 300 and 1300. See? You don't even need the whole thing right to start scoring points.
It's kind of like building blocks, right? Get all the pieces in the right place, the median, the quartiles, the whiskers, and bam, you get the full B2. That's 2 marks in the bag for this bit.
Okay, next up, part AII. Here, they're just asking you to read 2 values straight from the box plot you've just drawn and pop them into a table.
And how do you get the mark? Easy. You just read the lower and upper quartiles off the diagram. The mark scheme is super clear on this. 1 B1 mark for writing down 780 and 1200. It's really as simple as that.
All right, now for the calculation in part B. And this is where we really get to see the difference between a method mark and an accuracy mark in action. So the question wants to know the number of houses with a monthly rent over £1,200. Now listen up, because this is the crucial part. The first mark you can get here, the M1, is not for the final answer. It's for showing a valid method. The examiner just needs to see that you know what you're doing. Even just writing down something like 3/4 of 80 is enough to get you that mark.
And did you notice that little O at the end? What's that about? It stands for or equivalent, and it is your best friend in an exam. It means you don't have to be a mind reader. You don't have to write down the exact same thing as the mark scheme. Any method that's, well, equivalent, like 0.75 times 80, or even something like 80 divided by 4, then times 3, that also gets you the M1.
It's only after you've shown that correct method that you can get the final accuracy mark. That's the A1, for the correct answer, which is 60. You'll often see CAO on the mark scheme, which means correct answer only. Let me be clear. No correct method, no A1 mark, even if you somehow guess the right number out of thin air. Okay, so let's pull all of this together. After this deep dive into the examiner's secret blueprint, what have we actually learned about how to tackle these questions?
Well, the main thing is that there's a clear strategy you can use. First, every single mark is awarded for a specific thing you do. Second, you can totally get marks for partial work, so always write something down. Third, and I can't say this enough, you have to show you're working, especially to get those M marks. And finally, knowing the lingo like O and cow really does give you an edge.
So what is the real difference? In a high-pressure exam, it's the difference between getting 0 on a question and getting something. Think about it. Even if you completely panic and mess up the final calculation, just showing the right method can save you and get you that vital method mark. It's your safety net. So the real question the examiner is asking isn't just can you find the right answer, it's can you prove to me that you know how to find it.